Episode 2 of the Sideline Views podcast is presented by GuyBostonSports. For day-to-day coverage on the Bruins, Pats, Sox, and Celtics, visit GuyBostonSports.com. Once again, welcome, Hakeem. Joined by Hakeem here in episode 2. What's up, Hakeem?
What's up? How you doing, Gio?
A lot has gone down. It seems like every day there's something big going down in the NBA. So, let's get right into it. Tony Parker, after 17 seasons as a San Antonio Spur, is signed with the Charlotte Hornets.
Yep.
What are your reactions?
What was the deal? 10 mil, 2 years?
I think it was like 2 years, 9 mil, something like that.
9 mil, wow. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. Crazy spin move, great player. I don't really think he has much left in the gas tank. I think they just signed him because he's a veteran presence. Kind of like...
It's kind of unheard of, 17 years from a point guard now. 17 seasons.
Oh, yeah. And he gets injured a lot, too.
Yeah. It's sad, though, to see him go with the whole Kawhi situation and the way the Spurs are heading is just not... It's not a pretty place.
Oh, they're going to be a team eventually that will not be able to consistently make the playoffs like they have been able to so far.
Yeah, it's sad. You're a 4-time NBA champion. You were the Finals MVP in 2007, a 6-time All-Star. The dude's jersey number is definitely going to be retired in the San Antonio rafters. And to see it end like that just sucks.
I mean,
I'd rather see him retire than to end his stint in Charlotte.
I know what you mean. That Charlotte, it's no man's land. You have no one there. Kemba Walker is the biggest attraction. The other guys, you don't even know their names. Tony Parker is the second biggest name in Charlotte right now. It's ridiculous. So yeah, to see him go there, it's sad, and he definitely.
It's sad to say, no disrespect to Tony Parker, but that being your second best player, just considering the stage of his career that he's at, it's kind of sad.
It definitely is sad. MJ is the GM over there, but nothing gets done in Charlotte. I can't see him doing anything. Playoffs, finals, nothing's gonna go down.
Yeah, MJ's the perfect example of why a player shouldn't take any part in ownership or front office moves after he retires.
Yeah, when you see MJ, it's kind of like a shot at Magic too, because those are two teams led by former players, Hall of Famers, and it's kind of like, hey, these guys really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, at least there's some light in the future for LA, but the way Charlotte's heading, they still got some productive players. I'm not an Ingram fan, but he's more productive than anything aside from Kemba Walker in Charlotte.
Oh, 100%.
You got Lonzo, who can develop to be a pretty good passer. He just needs weapons around him, and you just got the biggest one this year in free agency. Kyle Kuzma's a great shooter. I believe he was the Lakers' best rookie shooter from 3 percentage-wise last season. They got some good stuff. Obviously, it's easy when you get those high picks.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This whole Tony Parker situation's kind of bugging me.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know if it's gonna go well for him. They brought in Tony Parker. You already have a starting point guard. So what he's gonna do? Come off the bench?
I feel like he's a sought-after star, I guess, with modern NBA fans. When Tony Parker came into the league, things people don't remember. He wasn't a good 3-point shooter.
Oh,
he developed that late in his career.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Jason. Kidd.
Back in those yeah, exactly. Back in those Miami final battles with LeBron, he started to finally get that shot falling.
Yep. So all started from the corner 3 with him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I don't know. From an NBA fan, I feel like the San Antonio Spurs are just that one team that everybody can respect and and appreciate. I kind of feel like they're what is there really to hate from San Antonio?
They're definitely one of the more moral teams. What happened with the shooting out in what was it, Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they had a shooting out in Dallas, you had the team. They said something about it. Pop has always said things about Trump and whatnot. They always get involved in politics.
Yeah, Pop doesn't. He's the definition of I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say whatever I want. What's on my mind?
Exactly. He always says, "Hey, basketball is not the most important thing in life." And reporters say, oh, how do you feel after this loss? He's like, it's not like the biggest thing in the world. We have people that die over and wherever. So, in comparison, basketball is a small thing.
Yeah, that's the thing with Pop. Like, he might not give you the answer you're looking for, especially, I feel like any reporter would tell you, but, like, it's genuine.
Yeah, because
and that's the thing I like about him. He's a genuine person.
Yeah, he's definitely not trying to be like anyone else. He's one of the better coaches. You see Tyronn Lue, and, when LeBron left, Tyronn was like, oh, I'm kind of, I'm hurt by it. And, like that, I didn't understand why he said that. I don't know if that was genuine at all, because you're saying you're hurt by it, but what did you expect the man to do?
I feel like that's just something he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was any pressure from Gilbert.
I mean, I think everyone at that locker room, like, I feel like when the playoffs started, they kind of felt like, yeah, he's gone anyway. Especially, right when they stepped. I feel like, especially after that game one, the way that, that all transpired.
Oh, definitely. But I mean,
because like you can blame JR, but I feel like there's more people that are at fault.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the percent. I don't think it's like percentage wise. It's all on JR.
Yeah,
I think it's spread.
Yeah, fuck. He didn't know that there was a JR. Didn't know that there was a timeout. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody knew. Like, I feel like at that point when JR has the ball in his hands, you should like instantly, all right, timeout. Even if I don't know we have a timeout, just like screw it, we'll take a shot at hopefully fooling the refs or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't. It's just JR just fell victim to his own history and his antics.
Yeah, I know. Because JR did it. It's a huge problem. Anyone else does it?
Yeah, when you build that reputation, it's all on you.
Exactly, especially after how his playoff history in New York went, like partying out all night with Rihanna, coming back, not being ready to play. He just has a bad reputation in the NBA.
Yeah, and he's just so open to like showing that side of him too. Because I feel like every NBA player kind of has that side to them that they just like. Mm-hmm. You don't want to show the fans because then you have a bad game and it's like, all right, they're instantly going to attribute that to your lifestyle off the court.
Mm-hmm, exactly. He has to learn how to keep them separate.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage in his career, it's a little too late for that.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, man. What do you think is the window for Pop to retirement? Because there's no way he's going to coach like a losing Spurs team for years and years and years to come, and he's obviously not going to coach anywhere else. I mean, at least NBA-wise, I can't see him going anywhere else.
I mean, he can coach until, I don't know, maybe late 80s. He can do it if he wants.
I mean, like, I know he can. Like, I'm not saying his ability-wise.
Yeah, but what
how much is he willing to tolerate as far? Because there's no way in hell Greg Popovich would ever, tank a season.
Yeah, definitely not. But the question is, what does he really have to lean on now that the passing of his wife? So I don't know how much he has going on.
It's been such a rough year for him.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does he have kids?
I think he does.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe he'll take time off. He'll go see how his kids are doing. Who knows?
It sucks to see that San Antonio dynasty die out.
Yeah,
I just can't get over that.
I mean,
that's a team that like every year, like they have a chance. Regardless of like what team was just built or whatever, what super team has been established, that team always stood a chance.
I mean,
and to see like years to come, my bad. It just sucks. What were you gonna say?
How well did they do with like Kawhi? He didn't play that much last season, and they were.
I think he played like 9 games.
Yeah, I mean
9 or 6.
They made the playoffs though, right?
Oh yeah, they still put a very productive season up. Yeah.
So I think they'll still be able to make the playoffs. I don't know how far they'll go in the playoffs, but I think they still have an opportunity to make it.
He needs to ship Kawhi out to like one of those young teams where you can get some young guys back. I don't know who.
If I was them, don't keep Kawhi because you want to get something out of it. You have to.
And if there's anyone in the league, especially in the Western Conference, any coach that I trust to develop young talent to flourish on their team, it's Greg Popovich.
Oh, easily.
Kawhi was like the 15th pick traded from Indiana. Not a whole lot of hype going into that draft. And look what he's become now. He's a top 3 talent.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know that. What was he drafted by? I think he was drafted by
Indiana.
Yep, there you go. Indiana. And then look at him now. They didn't know he'd be that.
So, I mean, it's kind of like the thing with the Lakers trade is that I can't see Pop like buying into Kawhi and going, you know what, you win, I'm going to ship you to where you want. It's kind of hard because you can still get some really good talent and build for the future from LA.
You have to.
But it's like...
He has to.
It's like, is he willing to?
Oh, he has to, because next year Kawhi becomes a free agent, right?
Well, he's obviously going to walk.
Exactly, and he's going to walk, so you won't get anything out of that. You can't get anything out of that. So why not trade now? Get something out of it. Don't stay with Kawhi. He's only going to stay for 1 year, plus he doesn't want to play on the team. So why not trade, get 2 to 3 players, because it's going to be a blockbuster deal. They said they're not settling, which means you will get good players, and that will help you on your road to making the playoffs and possibly going further and making a deep run.
Why don't they entertain an offer from someone like Charlotte for like a Kemba trade with picks? I feel like that would be pretty good.
I think it would be good, but picks all rely on how well the players are now today. We don't know.
They do, but I feel like San Antonio, like Popovich is a guy who I can trust with like a low end pick.
I mean, what do you think, Lonnie? What do you think is going to happen with Lonnie Walker? Will he be able to fit into the system? Because we know he's skilled.
No, You seen him in Summer League?
Oh yeah, you saw his handles, little flashes in his handles, crazy.
He's like Popovich is like the Belichick of the NBA, where like no matter how low where you sit in the draft, you're still confident that he can get you something.
Except the only difference between him and Belichick is he'll do whatever it takes to win. Because
that's true.
That definitely, he probably didn't want to talk with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, going from Kawhi acting like, Kawhi, quiet, nose to the grindstone, playing his game, to letting other people speak for him, and it's not even about basketball with Kawhi anymore. So, it's tough. It's tough.
Toughest part is like how low his trade value is for anyone but LA. Like if you're Pop, you can't call Boston and like demand anything.
No, because Boston's not willing to release any of their core talent. They're not going to release any of your young guys. You'll get a Marcus Smart, but that doesn't really.
You're gonna need if you're doing that. You're gonna need Kawhi to sign like the extension right there and now.
Yep, exactly. They know Kawhi's probably not going to stay in Boston. It's a 1 year deal. That's what's going to happen.
Like, it is such a bad position.
Yeah, it's a loan.
That it's so awkward too. I feel.
Oh yeah.
Like Kawhi's just sitting at home and he's just looking at his watch like I'm still on this team. Like Tony Parker got out of here before I did. Like what the hell?
Just think about it. How many relationships do you think he has severed with just like his attitude alone? And he's a guy that doesn't like to talk, so you already know when he gets there, it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be awkward.
Yeah, everyone definitely gives him like nasty looks as he walks in.
Yeah, think about how
he just walks in like a suit. Everyone's all getting ready, uniform up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just looking at him like, oh, this fucking guy again.
How does a guy like that be coached? Because you have to there's plays. Maybe Pop wants to implement new plays. Is he really gonna put all the time and effort into learning them? Is he really gonna try his hardest on defense? He'll get his. He wants the stats. He wants to look good, but what else will he do? Will he give the extra effort? Will he go the extra mile? And I don't think he will.
No, I don't think so either. But back to Summer League, who's impressed you the most so far in the Summer League? I know it's only been a few games, but who's impressed you the most?
I forgot his name. He was on Philly. He had 40 points. It's a crazy game. I think he had eight made threes. He looked like what Trae Young is supposed to look like. I forgot his name, but crazy guy, tall guy. He was on Philly. I think he's from Europe.
He was
as
their
well.
first round pick.
Yeah, I believe so.
Michael Bridges.
No.
Oh no, because they traded him, right?
Yeah, they traded him. It was a different guy. It's a taller Caucasian guy.
Who was it? Let's see if I can pull up the draft. Wow, I'm like brain dead. Who the hell did Philly take?
I think he might have been off of. I don't know if he was even drafted, honestly.
But wow, I can't believe we can't come up with this guy.
Korkmaz.
Korkmaz?
Yep, that's what it was. Furkan Korkmaz. 40-point game. It was against the Celtics too.
Oh, okay, yeah. The Turkish guy.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Those were crazy.
Yeah, that dude's only 20 years old. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he has a high ceiling if he's shooting like that. It looks really good. He has a pretty jumper.
I got to give credit to where credit's due. The guy that's looked explosive, and already I think I want him in the dunk contest this year is Kevin Knox.
I've seen Kevin Knox. I've liked his game, but I don't think he's one of the more skilled players in the draft. I think he's one of the more explosive players. And not even explosive to the extent that he can jump
just
the
electrifying.
Yep, exactly.
Like he's got that Blake Griffin-esque like in him.
He does.
When you see those dunks, it's crazy.
I mean,
how high, like, oh my gosh.
I mean, you know, Grayson Allen can't get too high off the ground, but he can still throw windmills too.
Well, speaking of Grayson Allen, the antics that followed him from college on.
Oh yeah, what he did to Trae Young, it was just disgusting.
Yeah, you saw that scuffle with Trae Young.
Yeah, Trae Young should have gave him the business.
What happened there? Like Young's trying to like draw a foul, and then they just get stuck together.
Yeah, and then Trae Young tries to fold him.
Like what? What are you doing, dude?
I don't know, but Trae Young, he doesn't weigh that much, so either Grayson Allen was flopping, or he's gonna have a lot of trouble in the NBA with the bigger guys.
Donovan Mitchell's gonna have such a great time dealing with that this season.
Oh, I mean, I think it's just gonna be pure entertainment, seeing all the fights Grayson Allen gets into.
Oh my
Because they're not gonna trip anyone in the NBA, and they're gonna look at you, you know, while like they point at you. No, they're gonna get up and they're.
The thing that sucks is like, the thing that sucks about him is he's talented. It's not like, you know, one of those bums that just does that to make a name for himself. The guy has talent and can make a name for himself with what he does on the court. He's just so boneheaded.
Yep, and he's so emotional. He's so.
Oh
emotional.
my gosh!
I can't even count the amount of times I've seen him cry.
Oh man. Let's move on to probably well, this is something I just discovered tonight, actually. Mm-hmm. In Los Angeles, they painted a mural in tribute for LeBron James.
Really?
And it was vandalized.
Oh.
You saw a picture on Twitter, right?
I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, it was going all over the place. Bleacher Report, everyone got a hold of it.
Yeah, that's just really uncalled for. That's the best player on your team who's trying to lead you to a championship.
Lord.
And that's what
I just got to get this out. The Los Angeles Lakers. You have not made the playoffs since 2012-2013 season. And you don't want LeBron James?
They need LeBron
I'm
James.
sorry. I'm sorry. Who do you have there?
They have no one. They have no one.
You guys haven't made the playoffs since Kobe.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball's not going to bring you a championship. I'll tell you that.
Let's also look a little more into that last time, how that last playoff run went for you. You got swept against the Spurs. First round, instant, 4-game sweep. Do you know who won the MVP of the finals that season? Oh, right. The man who just signed with you, LeBron James, who went for 25, 10, and 7 against the Spurs. So I don't get it. Like they're not gonna embrace him and build a statue and like raise his jersey to the rafters and retire that number. What's gotten into Lakers fans' minds is they feel entitled. Like, do you realize how irrelevant you guys have been?
I think, you know, Magic Johnson, he's brought such a fun loving group of guys, And, he himself is so electrifying that people buy into, we can do this because Magic says we can do this with who we had before, who we drafted. And now,
yeah, don't buy too much into his first name.
Yep, exactly. So now
the man doesn't have superpowers.
Now they bring in LeBron, and they're like, whoa. We've been playing against LeBron how many years, and we've been doing just fine without him. And they really haven't. They haven't been doing just fine.
Yeah, and you've been beating him how many times?
Exactly.
You realize that to get to the finals, you're probably gonna have to visit him. Oh yeah, you can't get there because you haven't made the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah, forgot that little detail.
The Lakers fans, man, it's awful.
Yeah, I'm not a LeBron fan. He's broken my heart too many times in Boston. But if there's anything I hate more than LeBron, it's Laker fans. It's the Lakers.
100%. Me, I hated LeBron too. I didn't like him as a player. I liked him as a person. Great person. He's a very smart businessman, nice guy, always gives back to the community. But I hated him as a player. I just thought he was soft. I thought he got all the calls in the NBA. You can't doubt his skill, but his mentality I always called into question. Until I went to a Celtics game, I think it was 2 years ago when we were in Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavaliers. I went to the game. I had the seats right near courtside, but behind the backboard. So I was there. I was watching LeBron. He went up. I forgot he dunked it on someone, and he went to the foul line. And the fans in Boston, they were just, Boston fans, they're real tough. It was real bad.
No idea.
Oh my God, the things they were saying.
That's all around. That's like every sport. There isn't a sport you can escape Boston fans.
They were telling LeBron, "You're a bad father. Oh, you suck. You're awful. What are you doing?" Like, they were just coming at his whole life. And the ball went out of bounds. He went to pick it up. He didn't even bat an eye. He heard everything under the sun. The man didn't bat an eye. And that sort of professionalism, that sort of, attention to the game, it just makes you respect him. And after that, I was a LeBron fan. I was sold 100%. I said, this is a dragon among men. This guy, he takes basketball seriously. Nothing can make his heart waver. Great player.
Yeah, the way he conducts himself, on and off the court cannot be questioned.
Exactly.
He's the gold standard as far as, athletes go in general, not just the NBA.
You don't see him posting anything questionable. Like, it's amazing that a man of his caliber, you don't hear any sort of gossip. No, hey, this guy cheated on his wife. Hey, his kids are in trouble. He's doing something off the court. Nothing happens with him.
It's such a Los Angeles thing to do too.
Oh,
like I get the fans that are like, Kobe was, he's been with us since day one, and I want him to be known as the greatest Laker of all time, even though it's Magic Johnson. But I can understand that to a certain extent, because do understand you're getting the best player in the game right now. Like, you realize how your odds to reaching the finals skyrocketed. Like, prior to the day that he signed with you, I don't think they would even accept those bets of the Lakers even making the playoffs. They'd just be like, take that back. We're not going to do this to you.
It'd be a joke.
Like, you understand what he's bringing just from signing with you. The attraction for, other players to come.
And
like, I don't get it.
And the Lakers fans still, for some reason, had that sort of entitlement. They felt so entitled, so conceited. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, how has, not going to the playoffs for the past 5 or so years gone for you? How's that? Is it fun?
Exactly, and they still find a way to berate LeBron James. This is LeBron James here. King James. You have to show him respect. You don't need to bow down and worship the guy. But in terms of basketball, he's a top 10 player of all time.
It's weird. Everywhere else, well, I mean, he's only signed with 2 places else. That he's gone. They welcome him in open arms. What do you think has been rougher as far as, like, reaction-wise when he first went back, when he first signed with Miami, and, like, the Cleveland reaction or this LA reaction?
I'd say LA. I'd say LA because Miami, Cleveland gave him a lot of trouble, burning jerseys and whatnot. But
yeah, I feel like in a sense there's like it's hard to say I justify it, but there's some reasoning to it with like, all right, buddy, we didn't win anything here. You're just leaving us. This is your hometown and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for him to come to you, the Loserville Lakers, and you're just like basically going, no, we don't want you. I don't get it. You guys haven't been relevant for years. I don't get it.
And the very worst part, the part that strikes me the most about this, and it really upsets me, is some young person, let's not even say a young artist, some artist took the time to make that.
I don't even think we can call him an art. Oh, I thought you meant the person
I'm talking about
vandalized it.
Yeah. Some guy took his time to make that. And the person who vandalized it, he just felt like he needed to go do that. He took time out of his day to go destroy someone else's artwork. Like, he had nothing better to do with his day than to vandalize.
If you haven't seen it already, that's an incredible picture.
It's a great picture. That's why it's so upsetting. It's an amazing picture. I wonder how many hours it took to make that picture. It's great.
Yeah, like you see the things they put on it: 3-6 in the finals, LaFraud, all that. Like,
yeah, no king. Ugh.
Like, dude, do you realize who you are saying this?
No, it's some nobody.
I honestly didn't expect this from Laker fans.
No. I mean, you saw the jersey sales; they were up 600%.
Yeah, I could in a sense see this from Boston fans because like that's your rival.
Mm-hmm. But Lakers,
and I could see you're like, and you're like, oh, we don't want LeBron here. He's been beating us all the time. We want to be known as the people who can surpass him. But like, Lakers have just been like, they're just there. Like, they exist. Like they're a team. They're just over there. Like, don't bring up the whole 16 titles and all this and that. Like, come on.
That wasn't done in their
Even
lifetime.
as a Celtics fan, I don't go around saying, oh, we have the most NBA titles. I've only looked to see one, so that's the only one that matters.
Yeah, for a majority of the fans, it wasn't done in their lifetime anyway, so can't really bring it up. A bunch of Laker fans probably couldn't even tell you the leading scorer of all time, and he's a Laker. He was a Laker.
It's crazy, like how many of the greatest players of all time, the Lakers have now.
Oh, yeah, they just got LeBron. They had Kareem. They had
Shaq.
James Worthy.
Kobe.
Oh my God, it's crazy. They had what's that guy? He's the NBA logo.
Jerry West.
Yep. Unreal.
It's amazing when you look at how many players did we just name there? Like 7?
Yeah, around there.
7 of definitely the top 20 players in basketball history.
And look where they came from.
That's crazy.
But I bet you a lot of Laker fans couldn't tell you that.
No. What's weird? Didn't Shaq play out like his first 4 or 5 years? I can't remember. He played it out in Orlando, and then he went to LA.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just era versus era or whatever. But, like, they welcomed him in open arms, and it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, I don't really...
And that was a situation where they had the Kobe. Here, you don't have the anything.
No.
Like, there's nothing in LA right now that you have.
No, they definitely don't. And you know what? We forgot to mention a few greats, but I was going to ask you, what did you think of Paul Gasol? Do you think he should rank as one of the best Lakers of all time?
As a Laker great?
Yeah.
That one's tough. I think there's an argument to be made for, like his jersey being retired and whatnot, because he had a very successful stint as a Laker.
That is true.
But as a Laker, I don't think people, like... I think he's a sought-after guy. He was one of those guys that did all the right things and did them well.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Tim Duncan argument.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like real basketball fans would say yes.
Yep.
And then I feel like, the ones who only look at the flashiness or whatever would tell you no.
Okay. And
how many years did he play in LA? I think he played like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to like 3 finals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3. I think you can argue it. I think you can. I definitely think his jersey will be retired. I'm gonna make that right now. I think his jersey will be retired.
That's true.
Because you look at it with the big three, like Garnett's jersey's gonna get retired eventually. I assume.
Yeah, 100%.
Like his jersey's gonna get retired. He was only in Boston for like the last, 3 good years of his career, and then the other ones he was in Boston, it was like, he was just slightly productive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not mad at the whole being, calling Paul Gasol Laker great.
Okay.
I'm with that.
Another off-topic question here. If we look at the greats of all time, let's say top 30, do you think Charles Barkley deserves to be in there?
A top 30.
Top 30.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, fair enough. Because the guy was skilled.
It's hard. Like I don't. People obviously go, the no ring thing, but Steve Nash is like a top 3 point guard of all time, probably top 5, top 3.
Mm-hmm.
He never won a ring.
And I'm guessing you would list Steve Nash ahead of Jason Kidd, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Steve Nash is like the gold standard of point guards. His pass creativity is just unmatched. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the most reliant free throw shooter, that I've ever seen. I think he definitely finished with over 90% from the free throw line.
It was over a 90% percentile.
He had a pretty decent 3-point shot. And it was just the way he got to the basket and how creative he was. Like, there was never a pressure situation for Steve Nash. He would always make something out of nothing, which to me was just ridiculously incredible to watch. One of the funnest NBA players.
He was like Rondo with the IQ.
And he made it cool for a kid like me to have long hair.
Yeah, well, thank God you cut it.
Oh, yeah. That was obviously back when it was cute. So, thanks, Steve. But, yeah, I think Charles Barkley is a top 30.
He definitely is. And I forgot to mention, Kareem. So, there you go.
Oh, yeah, Kareem. Jesus Christ, how did we let that one slip?
And for all of the old heads listening, Elgin Baylor.
Where'd you pull that one from?
I remember, my high school coaches used to yell at me when they're talking about greats of all time. And they're like, you could never remember a guy like Elgin Baylor. You probably never even heard of him. But, if I bring up Celtics history to a bunch of young guys, I bet you they'd never even know who Sean Havlicek was either.
Yeah, the only old head they know is definitely like Larry and Bill.
Larry, Bill, and probably Kevin McHale. They don't know the Chief.
Danny Ainge was a player? You're going to hear a couple of those.
Yeah, the only thing Danny Ainge is really remembered for is Michael Jordan pointing, his finger in his face.
Ainge it was pretty cool because he was like one of those, first guys with the double sport. He also played professional baseball. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he played for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know how the story goes. I don't know if it was like mid-season or something like that. And then the Celtics were just like, you want to play for us? And he was like, yeah. It worked out pretty damn well for him.
Yeah, he definitely did. He's a scrappy guy. He could play basketball. Do I think he could play today? Yeah, probably not. But he's a scrappy guy. He's like
he was just that like, that dog type of player. Sort of like what Draymond serves for the Warriors. He was just like that type of guy.
Yeah, he's like a Dellavedova.
I don't like Dellavedova.
Yeah, no one does. He's a scrappy guy, but he's dirty.
Dellavedova's like, he's like the really hyper kid that like his mom just feeds him a lot of sugar, and he's just there on the side of the bench, and like any given moment he's just shaking, and he's like, all right, am I gonna get in the game now? Yeah,
I feel he's like that type of brother or something who, when he hits you, he only apologizes because your parents see him do it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like if he didn't get caught, he would just keep playing.
Exactly. Once your parents look away, he's just going to give you an elbow right on the chin.
Exactly. And he'd be like, how do you like that? I got away with it, but if you retaliate against me, watch. Look, my parents are going to see, and now you're in trouble. And that's what players have to deal with him.
How many times do you think Dellavedova got detention as a middle schooler?
Oh, probably a million times. The guy, he doesn't know what it means.
He was either the one who got it all the time, or he was just the one who got away with it and never got it.
Oh, 100%. He probably...
He's one of those two.
He doesn't follow rules. He's too cool for that. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's just spitballing. he's got like a you know, a compartment in his backpack where he's got all this stuff. He's got like the crazy string or whatever in a can. He's got like the fake vomit, all this stuff.
Yeah, with the black leather jacket.
Exactly. He's got the sunglasses and everything.
Yup. He's driving his Miata. National tough guy.
He's got his like scooter.
Oh my god.
He's got like that one kid he's picking on who's just like polishing his scooter. There you go, Mr. Dellavedova.
Oh my god.
He's like, all right, scram.
Oh, you remember when the reporter asked LeBron James? It's like so it was a question along the lines of, you know, how would you feel Australian players have impacted the NBA, and would you like to have more of them like Matthew on the team? Such a weird question.
Damn, how many Australia players aside from Dellavedova do you know? Aaron Baines,
Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah, Ben Simmons is Australian.
Ben Simmons
right.
and Baines. That's pretty much it. I couldn't tell you more.
Jeez, like before Ben Simmons' first, you know, day of being drafted, he was already the greatest from Australia. Like that's how crazy is that? You haven't even been drafted yet. Wasn't he injured towards the end of his college year, right?
Yeah, because I believe that's why he didn't play.
He was like injured toward the last like 25% of the season or whatever, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then already you're like the greatest from your country.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Nike seems to think so with the deal they gave him before he ever played in a game.
I wonder how do players from back then look now? To like you saw, who was it? Ayton and a few of those guys got a big Puma deal.
Oh yeah. You know, money wasn't such a big thing. Like players were lucky to get, you know, a few $100,000.
Yeah, you're Larry Bird and you're just like chugging up and down the court with those leather Converses.
Yeah. Now you're getting shoe deals like it was free advertising.
Shoe deals right out of college.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Exactly. Isn't that the life?
Oh my gosh. Charles Barkley definitely sits at his house and just goes. He hates. I guarantee you, he hates the NBA today.
Oh, you know, he doesn't even allow.
For a few reasons. For one, his Phoenix Suns suck.
Mm-hmm.
Two, from his perspective, and I mean it's pretty debatable. You can make the argument. NBA players today are so spoiled.
Yeah, you can make.
Compared to what he had back then.
Mm-hmm.
And three, especially after this offseason, the league's gonna stink. He had a quote, and this instantly changed the way I look at Charles Barkley, and I love him now. He had a quote. I don't have it on me right now, but it was something along the lines of like, I have to go on TV every day and fake it like these teams actually have a chance, when really it's at most maybe a 3-team league. And I was like, I love you.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you.
Finally, we have someone coming, because I mean, I get it. Like, you can't be a reporter and go on and be like, all right, Memphis and Denver, here's another useless regular season game of two teams that, don't have a shot at it.
But,
But, like, I mean, it's the reality.
Yeah, you can't say that, that's reporting. But I feel like that's what they expect of him.
No, they definitely tell him that. I mean, it's the same case with boxing. Like, like, especially nowadays, how many fights, have the judges absolutely, like, screwed up?
Oh, my God. Countless
fights. And then that's why I like Teddy Atlas so much and Stephen A. Smith after these fights, and, how animated they get about it. The other guys at that table just don't say a word. They're just so quiet. Because you can't say anything.
Oh, my God. The scoring in boxing, it's horrendous.
It's disgusting. It's like the mafia runs it or something.
Oh my God, it'd be a close fight. It'd be 120 to 110.
It's like Whitey Ball. I can see Whitey Bulger just running it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's just sitting ringside in his like $100,000 seat.
Yeah.
And then he just goes up to the referee. He's like, Canelo's not winning this one.
This is what I pay you guys for. Make sure it happens.
You see a bunch of people with like Triple G signs, and then he just looks at the referee. He's like, nope, not tonight.
You don't even know how many times I've watched a boxing fight, and I'm like, oh, this is a close fight. You see the scoring, it turns out to be like 1-6.
No, there's no such thing as a close fight in boxing.
Oh my god, it's awful.
That doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a close fight.
You'd have you'd have two scores that make sense. Then the other one just blows you out of the water. Like,
you got such a slanted fight, such a one-sided fight, that somehow, miraculously, in a human being's eyes, is seen as close.
It's awful.
And you don't need to be a genius to officiate these fights. We're talking about people who don't fight themselves, making these decisions.
Exactly, and that's a big part of the problem.
Which is the worst part about it.
It is.
I still love boxing.
Oh.
I know Pacquiao's got a fight this upcoming. I think it's Saturday or Sunday. So let's see how they screw that one up.
I mean, you watch for skill. You know who wins in your heart of hearts. So
it's terrible because Pacquiao's like a boxing legend, especially that last fight against Jeff Horn. The way they treated it, it's like is this some type of joke? Like, are we serious right now? And then Jeff Horn gets knocked out by Terrence Crawford in like the 9th round.
Yep.
Ironically, the 9th round, number 9, the round that Pacquiao actually like absolutely wrecked him in to the point where the ref was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to call this." But miraculously, I don't know how the hell Jeff Horn won that fight.
You know what?
I don't know.
It happens all the time.
I can rant for hours on boxing.
Yeah, different beast.
But I can't because we have to talk about Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, one of my favorite players.
What is the move for Carmelo Anthony? He was set to get $27.9 million from the Oklahoma City Thunder after picking up that option. They decided to cut ties with him to save themselves $100 million, apparently. Mm-hmm. So now he's on the market.
Well,
not a pretty market for Melo, but where is he gonna go?
See, you say not a pretty market, but someone's gonna pick it up, right?
No, I mean in the sense that like he's not gonna make the $27.9 million he would, like that's not gonna be something that teams aren't gonna be knocking on the door for Melo right now.
That's true, but I believe championship contenders will. I think you'll have the Houston. You have the team like the Lakers.
I was about to say I think that's the best and probably only fit for Melo right now.
100%, without a doubt, that is.
Because you see the whole thing with the situation in OKC and why he didn't like it there because, he played such a limited role. Mm-hmm. You can argue that could possibly work in LA, but, like, LeBron James, like, that's the place of your role being limited. So, you're not going to go to LA, at least in my mind. I think, Houston, they move the ball around really well. So I feel like Melo would work there. They've already lost who? Ariza, right?
They did lose Ariza to Phoenix.
And Clint Capella, is it?
Clint Capella, he's still going through negotiations.
I thought they lost 2 guys.
I know that they did lose Ariza. I know that.
He was the one who went to Phoenix, right?
Yes, he did go to Phoenix.
He went to Phoenix, yeah. So I think Houston's the move. Houston, yeah, they need to pick someone up after the Ariza loss.
Oh, yeah. They got money to spend now.
But I think, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard. Melo didn't have a great year last year.
He didn't have a great year. He was a third option, and it's not even because of skill, because I believe, if we're just talking flat-out skill, he is more skilled than Westbrook and Paul George. But that doesn't mean he plays better than them. And that doesn't mean he has the same athleticism that those two have.
I think that chemistry was just garbage.
It was
like that team, like that. There were some times where you watch that team and you they click. Like early season, I remember when Boston was on like that win streak, and they took on OKC, they were seen as like a legitimate threat.
Oh yeah.
And then down the road, you're like,
they're a joke.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are there.
I'd say Melo said it himself. He said that he didn't believe coming in OKC had any plan to implement him into, a successful role. And I agree. It didn't seem like they were ready to make any sort of move to put him at the forefront of scoring on that team.
I feel like you could have seen that like right from the get-go when he entered OKC.
Oh yeah, he was the third option.
Like you're obviously not going to be the guy in OKC. That's Westbrook's team.
It's Westbrook's team, but Westbrook loses them every single playoff game.
But all three of those guys contributed to that this season.
They definitely did.
Like shot opportunity wise, I remember talking to a few people about this, and they're like, Westbrook takes all the shots. But like when you actually do the math, on average, Westbrook took about I believe it was 2 more shots than Melo, especially in that Utah series.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like he was being ball hoggy towards the last 2 games or so. But when you look at the way that Melo shot, that Paul George shot, if you're Russell Westbrook, you're not passing that ball off. You're not going to defer to those 2 guys.
Definitely not. But I know people, if you just look at shots, you forget how long Westbrook actually has the ball in his hands. Which is a ridiculous amount of time. And it's tough.
The team underachieved like crazy.
Oh, 100%.
Like crazy. I feel so stupid for not seeing it coming too. Playoff wise, there just isn't a whole lot of playoff success when you look at that team and the players.
No, there definitely wasn't.
There just isn't a whole lot.
It's foreign territory for them. I mean, they went way back when KD was there to the finals, but when have you seen them since?
What does this mean for the whole do you remember when Paul George put, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, when he re-signed with them, he was unfinished business or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
What business is there to finish? You guys got bounced in the first round.
I don't know. I don't think OKC can make a successful run if Westbrook is in the picture. Not saying Westbrook isn't a great player. Don't get me wrong. Great player. I just can't see him. If he's taking a majority of shots and the ball is in his hand for a large portion of the time, then I can't see it. We're talking about a guy who is willing to take 40 to 50 shots even if they lose.
Mm-hmm. That team needs a bench, too.
No bench. No bench. It's awful.
They have no depth, aside from their starters.
No, you couldn't. A lot of people can't even.
Exactly.
You couldn't name most of them.
No. I like Steven Adams, too.
Oh, I love Steven Adams. Great.
I think he's such an underrated big man.
It's because he's quiet. He's not like a loud guy. Keeps to himself.
I mean, it's weird that, you could have seen, success not being existent with that team. But then again, you look at it and you're like, why?
Mm-hmm. And that's when people start pointing fingers. It's why aren't they successful? Because they have all the pieces. They do. They have all the talent in the world. But they can't seem to make it work. I mean, if anything, Melo wasn't working in a starting lineup. I would have put him in a second rotation to see maybe if he has the ball in his hand a majority of the time, can he get it going? Because that's what he had in New York, and we saw how well that worked for him.
What do you think it's looking like next year? OKC a 6th, 5th seed?
Maybe, possibly, but I don't think their position really matters in the seeding because
I mean, obviously not for the vast majority of the NBA, but just trying to get fun with prediction wise. You're obviously gonna have Golden State number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have Houston number 2.
Yep, without a doubt.
You're gonna have. It gets tricky here. I think you might have Utah number 3.
Yes, I do believe that they have unfinished business, not OKC.
I like it. I like their coach. I like Donovan Mitchell. I want Grayson Allen to make me like him. I want him to try. Just try this season. I know you're not listening, but if you're listening, just try.
I don't like the kid.
I don't either, but I like the team, and I don't want Grayson Allen to be the reason that I watch them in the playoffs and I'm like, all right, I want this team to get swept.
Yeah, I don't want Grayson Allen to break the chemistry. Utah has something going for him.
Because I like guys on there. Like, despite what Rudy Gobert said about Gordon Hayward, who's my favorite player in the league, I still like Rudy Gobert as a player.
Yeah.
I like Ricky Rubio.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you said what? You said what? Gobert said about Gordon Hayward?
Yeah, he was like, "You're not loyal" or whatever. He played like the song, he's blanking loyal when Hayward left and signed with the Celtics.
He's not loyal, so I mean, he can't do something that's for the
hell
betterment of his career.
You guys sucked. Sorry.
Yeah,
but I like you now. I like you guys now. I like a lot of guys. I like Joe Ingles. I like their coach.
I'm not a Rudy Gobert fan. Played a little chippy, a little dirty during the playoffs.
Defensive wise, I like him.
Oh yeah, offensively, he's just oh my god, he's a disaster. He is an offensive disaster.
He's tricky offensively.
Oh,
he has his nights out.
They give him the ball back to the basket. I've literally watched it. Oh my god, they give him the ball back to the basket.
It's not a pretty situation to put him in.
He could have someone, a 6'6" defender guarding him, and the man will still pass the ball out. It's like he has no idea how to work with his back to the basket. It's like 1/25th of Joel Embiid's skill back to the basket.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what is it with big men in that issue? What is it?
I don't know if it's the era we play in, but it's like big men like automatically just turn into face-up players now.
I don't get it.
Like you couldn't go back in the day and see a big man that didn't have.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you know how people like go, well, Bill Russell played with like these many teams, so he's not that good. Bill Russell was like an innovator when it came to the big man role. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like when people talk about him outside of Boston, they talk with such disrespect.
Oh, well, yeah, and it's part of
like that man was an innovator. Mm-hmm. Like, put some respect on Bill Russell's name, please.
People always want to tear down Boston sports because we're so successful in pretty much every sport, so it's not surprising.
So, what did I say? Golden State 1, Houston 2, Utah 3. Mm-hmm. I got to go based off the Lakers team now. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's still OKC 4 and then Lakers 5.
You really believe that?
The Lakers still need another piece.
Wait, did you just put OKC ahead of the Lakers?
Yeah, I don't see them.
Really? I definitely have to switch that around. I mean, we're talking LeBron James.
It's going to be tough. No, I know that. But, like, the other guys need a click.
They do.
I think Kuzma's going to be reliant.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a big man. Who the heck is their big right now? JaVale McGee? I don't give a rat's ass who JaVale McGee's playing with. You can't make that man better. He sucks. It's pure. He stinks.
Yeah, he can't just automatically turn into someone.
Like the thing with the Lakers, their problem right now is like the players they have. Their talent is reliant on what's around them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like JaVale McGee only scored. What did he score? Like 14 points in the finals, and everyone wanted to throw a parade for him.
Mm-hmm.
He only did that because he was in Golden State.
Yeah, it's like Blake Griffin. Like, how much do you expect from Blake Griffin without Chris Paul?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, Lance Stevenson is good off the bench, but, like, what he does and what he's going to give you isn't going to mean anything unless you have, like, starters carrying you.
Yeah, because, Lance Stevenson will score. Without a doubt. The man will score. But
I think Lonzo's going to have a better year because he has LeBron to defer to.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, they need another piece. That's why they needed to be the ones to sign Boogie. They need that big. Because, like, while you can argue LeBron could play any position at this stage in his career, I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think he wants to fight for rebounds. I don't think he wants to do any of that.
No, but
I think he wants to just go about him.
We didn't
play the forward role.
We didn't mention that I believe Brook Lopez just signed a 1-year deal with the Bucks, right?
Yeah, 1 year, $3.3 million.
So the question now is, who's the starting center? Because it's not Zubac.
So you really want me to answer that?
I'm not going to put Zubac in, and if your answer is going to be JaVale McGee, that's just disgusting.
I don't know.
That's a train wreck.
Is that option open for Mo Wagner?
I mean, it definitely is.
If he has a good summer league?
If he has a good summer league, yeah. I mean, he seems like a more solid choice than JaVale McGee. His IQ, his basketball IQ, has to be at least 7 levels higher.
I like Mo Wagner. I think he fell like 24 or something like that. And I think it's a pretty good pick.
I think he's a big player.
I hope he flourishes in the summer league. I'd like to see him start.
I mean, it's going to be tough. The league, in terms of centers, a majority of the centers in the league are
I mean, in terms of performing, but like when you look at your competition, it's not very threatening.
But, yeah, he might be able to start on the Lakers, but at least JaVale McGee is athletic. I'm not saying this guy's a bum. I'm not saying Mo Wagner is, a bum who can't, jump. And
but IQ-wise, it's like it's non-existent. And LeBron doesn't like... You saw it with JR. LeBron is not a fan of boneheaded plays.
Definitely not. And I know he'll probably address that situation when it comes, especially if he sees too much of it from JaVale McGee. He'll let it slide in the regular season, though. We know that. As long as they win.
Yeah. We've known this for years. Regular season is meaningless with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't care. So, yeah, that's why I think OKC is going to have a better finish. I don't think it's going to be like Jurassically. I don't think they're going to finish like, 10, 12 games above LA. I just think they're going to finish somewhat ahead of them, like 3 or 4 games.
Okay.
So I had.
What do you think about Portland?
No.
Man. You think they have a shot?
I mean, there's only one thought in my mind. It's that Dame needs to bounce.
What about CJ? You think CJ should stay?
No. He needs to go too, but I'm just talking to we gotta take it one player at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dame needs to go.
Okay.
Where that place is, I don't know.
What about Minnesota and New Orleans? Where do you think they go?
Now, Minnesota's gonna lose Butler, so it's gonna be a pretty rough year.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans, I don't know, because again, I'm optimistic for New Orleans. Unfortunately, they did lose Rondo, so that's kind of a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But they did perform well without Boogie. So I'm more worried about the Rondo loss than I am about the Boogie loss. As crazy as that sounds.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm to say something about what you said on Damian Lillard, they were the 3rd seed. And they got swept by New Orleans, which was the 6th seed. So, I mean, I don't really see any reason for the guy to stay. If you're getting swept by the 6th seed...
Yeah, Portland, I will tell you this right now. Remember these words. Portland is not finishing in the top 5 next year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not finishing top 5.
I wouldn't be surprised. If they keep...
I'd be surprised.
If they keep
I
Dame
put them at I put them at 6 or 7. It sucks. Imagine if Aldridge was still there right now.
They'd be contenders.
Oh, Lord.
I think Nurkic does nothing for the team. I don't know why they've assigned him. I mean, if you look at stats, you might say he does, but I think those are just trash can, points. Points that don't really mean anything. They're just they're superficial.
When are we going to put together our petition to, get the commission to just eliminate all the teams? Empty it all out. Let's get a draft and let's start over from scratch.
Oh, you'd upset a lot of GMs. A lot of GMs who feel that they've worked and earned the right to sign those players to their teams.
I think I'm upsetting a few, maybe. Yeah, I'm upsetting Danny Ainge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upsetting whoever the hell runs Golden State.
Yep.
Draymond Green. That's their GM, right? Yeah, Draymond.
You're upsetting Magic.
I'm upsetting Magic, but you didn't earn that. So... I don't care. I think it might be about it. I feel like OKC would be relieved.
Yeah, Mark Cuban would be happy. And I can tell you
Who cares about Mark Cuban?
His center picks up isn't going to be DeAndre Jordan because he says there's no friction there and there's no hard feelings, but I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe it.
What was the point? Well, I don't even know what is DeAndre going to do in Dallas.
I don't know. I mean, he went back before because Blake Griffin told him to come back.
Oh!
No.
Matter of fact, speaking of moves that I don't understand, have you seen the latest Zach LaVine rumors? Well, not rumors, report.
Yep. What was it? 80 mil 4 years and
78 4 years.
78 4 years.
Oh. What's more surprising to you, the fact that Sacramento is willing to offer him 4 years and $78 million? What's more bizarre, the offer from Sacramento or the fact that the Bulls are willing to match it?
I'd say the offer from Sacramento. I don't believe he's worth that much. But then again,
I like Zach LaVine.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. But this is just one of those examples where it's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you just throwing money like that?
They have to keep someone. Who's going to be your best player? Chris Dunn? He's the guy who doesn't want to practice?
Yeah, but like, you just aren't... I mean, maybe from like a selling ticket perspective, but like, why? It's just such a waste of money to me.
It is. I mean, but Sacramento needs someone. They have no star right now other than, what's his name? Guy who was drafted last year. De'Aaron. Other than De'Aaron Fox, they don't really have anyone. Buddy Hield
and I killed
no-show.
No. Willie Cauley-Stein? Like, what?
Oh
what is there?
Yeah, Mr. Face Tattoos comes out of college. First thing on his bucket list, get a face tattoo.
Oh, no, they drafted, Bagley.
Yeah, we'll see how well he
right?
does. Well, yeah.
I got high hopes. He was my favorite prospect in that draft.
Who, Bagley?
But, yeah, I like Bagley. But I don't get it. Like, I killed Memphis about the Mike Conley contract, and it's still a very, very bad contract, but at least Mike Conley's productive. Ever since then, it's like the NBA's just been throwing money around.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Like, Mozgov making $70 million or whatever. Joakim Noah just coming from the ground like he's the Undertaker in WWE, and here are the Knicks with like a briefcase of $100 million for him for whatever the hell reason.
I think this year he's still making $19 million. For what? Why?
Jesus Christ. When was the last productive game you've seen from Joakim Noah?
I don't even remember the
Chicago.
last time he was on the court.
Chicago. The Tom Thibodeau days.
Mr. Salem
Chicago.
State.
Mr. Salem State. I love you, Tommy. Yeah, he doesn't show Salem State any love.
Yeah, he won't remember the little guys.
I mean, I can't blame him. There's not a whole lot, lot to show for. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
Definitely will be.
There's still a lot to talk about. There's still, things to fill in. There's still the mystery of where will Isaiah Thomas go?
Ugh.
You think he's going to be signed this week? How much longer until he gets signed?
I mean, he's definitely not someone who's high on the list of, top priorities. Definitely not. He's a scorer that can't play defense.
I want to see him have a comeback year. I'm pulling for him.
I
think he's going to take like a 2-3 year deal, something short term, so that, he can still build up for a payday.
I don't think he'll get a payday. He will be underpaid.
But I feel like the thing is, like, when you see contracts like Zach LaVine, it justifies someone like Isaiah Thomas going, when do I get my payday?
But then
because, like, Isaiah has performed in big stages. Zach LaVine has performed in the dunk contest.
True, but Zach LaVine can play defense, and he's an athletic freak.
But he has, like, his value offensively versus Isaiah Thomas is, like, they don't even compare. And, like, the NBA is an offensive-driven league. So I feel like if you just put Isaiah in the right... That was the thing, like, in Boston, the reason I defended Isaiah so much, not just because he was so fun to watch and I still love him, even though he's not here, is the fact that he didn't have a whole lot around him. Like, people would always tell me, like, this guy can't win a finals, he can't lead a team. Like, I get why you see that, but also understand what he has around him. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have anything around him. His big is Kelly Olynyk. His, like, next best scorer was, what, Avery Bradley? Like, Jay Crowder is the perfect example of Brad Stevens making players. I'm sorry, can anybody recall where Jay Crowder is right now? Oh, yeah, he's in Utah, and he doesn't matter. He's not doing anything. He didn't do anything in Cleveland. He's not doing anything in Utah.
That's fair.
So that's where I stand. I don't think Isaiah Thomas had a whole lot. Well, I'm sorry. I think he didn't have a whole lot.
I mean, but his value still isn't going to increase by much. I think his value is
I think he can have... No, yeah, definitely. But, like, that's a situation where, like, going out of free agency from Boston, you can still use, like, that year to get your payday. The thing that hurt Isaiah Thomas was the Cleveland, LA getting hurt. He was turning over the ball a lot.
Oh,
you could
LA
tell the injury affected him.
Yeah, but in LA, he played very well at some times, but when he didn't play very well, he was playing awful. Just high school JV basketball, maybe even freshman. He played very.
Watching Isaiah playing with LeBron was like, it was kind of like watching the All-Star game. He's just jogging up and down the court. He might get a shot every now and then.
Yeah, it was like open rec basketball. You pick up, your buddies. You pick up 3 buddies.
He was like, it was kind of looking like he was half-assing it.
Yeah, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know he's working with LeBron James. He knows he's not supposed to be dribbling down the court. You pass up to LeBron James. That's the first thing you do. That's your job.
But I'm pulling for him. Hope Isaiah Thomas has a comeback season next year. Sign a 2-year contract with Orlando. Get a few, maybe a 1-year contract even. Get a few solid seasons in there. You're not going to get, 100+ mil, but I feel like you can definitely get over. If Kelly Olynyk can make $50 million, IT can make over 70.
I mean, Evan Turner's making big bucks too.
Yeah, how's that going?
And yeah, you're right. If Zach LaVine can make that much money, then Isaiah Thomas should make.
Is definitely due for a payday.
Yeah, around that ballpark at the very least, over $20 million a year. But I can't see someone giving him that realistically. I can't see it. I can't see it. He's a defensive liability. Not too many guys at his height are still in the league.
Definitely. All right. So we're going to have to wrap this up. You got any final thoughts? Any points you want to address?
Nothing really. I'll just say this. Kay Felder, a guy who was on Cleveland. When he was drafted, he was a big name. And now look at the guy. Great scorer in college, just like Isaiah, but his height played a role. But yeah, other than that, that's it. But, good luck, IT. We love you out here in Boston. Do your best.
Still love you. Much love. I still wear your t-shirt, even though I got it on sale at Lids. Still rep it like I bought it for retail. Trust me. But, alright. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the Sideline Views podcast. Comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at SViewsPodcast. Tune in for episode 3 coming soon. Alright.